Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Val.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
Hi, hey, here we are. It's been a bit, last week my power went out for like multiple hours during the time we would have like been recording, which wasn't ideal for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, no, nothing seems to be going bad now. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, thankfully.
Um, and so we're here. It's another week. We got like a podcast we can record about Naruto. But like I guess before that, have you been up to anything these couple of weeks?
Ooh, not particularly. Like I'm kind of just watching all the stuff I'm watching.
Yeah. Any standouts? Any highlights?
Um, so I kept watching that like Eminence and Shadow one, the like jokes isekai.
Yeah.
It's like it's not fantastic. It just kind of wound up being one of the shows that I see on my feed and watch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, everything that I'm still watching is pretty good. Uh,
Okay, so this is sort of like the opposite of a highlight. That's sort of like a specific diss to the Eminence and Shadow before we get on to everything else.
well, I mean, it's like not bad. Like it's not.
It's not bad. It's just like this is the thing I'm watching. That's like just kind of okay. I'm keeping up with it. Like I have the momentum to be watching it, so I watch it. But like the other stuff I'm watching is good.
Yeah. Just to update everyone where I'm at, right? And like the other stuff I'm
Mhm.
watching is like Bocchi the Rock, obviously.
Hell yeah, hell yeah,
Do it yourself is like fantastic.
hell yeah. I think we're like an
Um,
episode behind on that. Oh, that's okay. We'll get there.
yeah, we'll get there.
We're gonna watch after we recorded like Naruto Uzumaki on Sunday, but then we just flirted with each other instead.
Yeah. Well, it's
You know
not,
how it is.
yeah. God, what else? The sword isekai, the sword reincarnation one.
Mm-hmm. So still going strong for you?
Yeah, that one's still going pretty strong.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Notably, I still have not seen more Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I'm like actually okay. I was gonna say I'm caught up on Chainsaw Man, but then I remembered it comes out on the day we record, so I'm like never caught up on Chainsaw Man when we record the podcast.
Beautiful.
But I've seen 8 episodes of Chainsaw Man, which I believe is like 5 more than when we last talked about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a couple of good episodes of Chainsaw Man now.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it?
Right. So like the last time we recorded, or like one of the last times we recorded, when we talked about Chainsaw Man, I was like, oh yeah, there was like a Tatsuya Yoshihara episode that I didn't get around to watching, and I bet that's like pretty cool, right? Because I like Tatsuya Yoshihara a lot. I really like his work on Black Clover. I think he's got like a very like a very like fun sensibility about this sort of thing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
and I was like optimistic about him, like maybe like breaking out of like some of the like more like stiff feeling that Joe had. And like I saw his episode and it was like pretty good, right? Like it was like pretty fun. The action like really goes really well. Um, I think it's like within the confines of what that like show's like goals are as an adaptation, right? Nobody's like really like broken out of that all the way for me yet. Which and like at this point, I think like nobody's going to, because it's just like there's just like a consistency there, right? There's like an extent to which that vision is being carried out, regardless of how I feel about it. And I'm
Yeah.
not really expecting there to be like some like completely like crazy off the wall episode that's like just going like all out. Like that was pretty good. And then like there's the whole like the Eternity Devil stuff when they're like in the hotel or whatever, and it's still
Mm-hmm.
like they're like fucking stuck in there. You go to do that, and I thought all that stuff was like pretty boring in the anime. I don't know. Or like maybe boring is the wrong term, but like I just wasn't like super engrossed by it. Like I thought that like the environment looked like super ugly the entire time, which kept taking me out of it. And it was just like not like presented in the most compelling way. So I was like kind of down on it again. I was like, okay, maybe the show's just not that great, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, I guess this is like last week when we recorded, and like even longer ago from whenever we get around to it. It was like episode 8. Um,
Yeah, I heard good things about episode 8.
yeah, right. Like I woke up and I got on Twitter, right? And I saw people like excited about like, oh shit, there's like a new Goso episode. Goso is like it's like a nickname for a director named Shota Goshizono.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, oh shit, is he on Chainsaw Man? Because like that's a show that comes out on Tuesday, and like they got big names on that a lot of the time. And I was like a little worried at first, right? Because I think that Shota Goshizono is like a director who often has like a style that really leans into like presentation of space that isn't quite grounded in like physical realism in the way that Chainsaw Man is necessarily. Like he often tends to go for like like exaggerating the layout of a space to like convey mood and stuff. Which isn't really like something that's like in line with what Chainsaw Man is. So at first I was like a little bit worried, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I got to his episode and like I think there's still a lot of his like style that comes through. I think there's a lot of like very like compelling touches in there. I think there's like it wound up being like maybe the most like convincing display of like what the show's philosophy was, just because of like how much of like that creative voice was still able to come through and still able to like convey a really strong mood. I was really struck by. It's not like the most indulgent that he could be, just because like the artistic goals of that show aren't really like in line with the most indulgent that he could be. But like he was still there, and like it was like nice to see the possibility of like somebody expressing that clear of a voice on that show, basically.
Yeah.
So I was like pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously, I don't have much to say about it. I didn't see this fucking show, so.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you will one day, or maybe you won't. We just don't know yet.
I think it's funnier if I don't.
Okay, you're committed at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, at this point, I've seen a bunch of it that you haven't, so, like, it's not, like, it's, like, easier for me to, like it's, like, easier for you to just keep watching it without you, and, like, that's, like, I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe it's, like, a bit of a bummer or whatever, but it's fine. We got other stuff we can watch together.
Yeah, and, like, maybe when the whole season's out, I'll just binge it all at once and never tell anybody about it, right?
Yeah, okay. I mean, like, ultimately, it's not going to be as good as Bocchi the Rock, so, like, it's fine.
Yeah, right. It's not gonna be as good. It's not even gonna be as good as Do It Yourself. Come on. Now.
No, of course not.
Do you just want to go ahead and get to the episode?
Yeah, we could. I did other shit, but it's not really like anime, and I don't have like that big of a thing to say about it, so we can just get to Naruto.
Well, you might as well mention it, right? Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, the other thing is that, like, during the week we didn't record, right? I, like, just kind of, like, sat down and I, like, plowed my way through the rest of, like, Xenoblade 2. I think I spent, like, God, I don't even know how long I spent playing that game last week. It was a lot. It was,
Ooh, I kept track. It was 42 hours.
Wait, what? How are you keeping track? What?
Oh, I lied.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than you, like, keeping track somehow. But, like, I was, like, really, by the end of the game, I was, like, really happy about it, right? Like, I think in the past, like, especially when I first played it, I was, like, kind of put off, right? I think it like put sort of an awkward foot forward. But I think like the deeper I got into it, like the more I was really like won over by it, and like by the end of the game, I was just like I was just super happy with what I was playing, and I was just like happy to have like, played it. So
nice.
That game's pretty good. That's my official stance now.
Hell yeah! Do you want to make it like a big long RPG with me now?
That's a big commitment. Like we could maybe, I don't know, maybe not that long.
Okay, yeah.
I spent like 160 hours playing that game. Not all last week, but yeah. I don't know. I don't think we have anything else to say. Do you want to get to Naruto now?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this is like a great opportunity for you to like put the shoe on the other foot and be like, actually, I had something else I want to talk about first. After you tried to Naruto earlier, but that would have been like, there wouldn't really be much of a point to it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Episode 124, The Beast Within. Naruto chases Sasuke through the woods as Kimimaro and Rock Lee resume their fight. Rock Lee pulls some funny drunk nap tricks. Kimimaro finds the empty bottle to learn that Lee's just drunk. Shikamaru is losing the chokeout struggle to Yuya, and Kiba leaves the water so his wound doesn't get any worse. Guy talks more about his experience with Lee in the Drunken Fist, and Tsunade's surprised Guy wasn't able to handle the kid himself. Rock Lee and Bones Boy duke it out, and Lee has the upper hand.
Okay, so I think this half of the episode is, like, really fun.
Yeah, totally.
And, like, I think the thing that's, like, really notable about it, especially from the perspective I'm, like, covering the show from, is that, like, a lot of what makes it the most fun for me isn't really in the manga at all. Like, in the manga, Lee, like, gets drunk, he's got his Drunken Fist mode going, and then he, like, just kind of, like, starts attacking, like, Kimimaro, and Kimimaro's like, whoa, he's, like, his moves are, like, fast and unpredictable, but it's not really, like, a silly thing, It's not really, like, a comedy thing.
Yeah.
And here I think the show gets, like, a ton of mileage out of the fact that, like, well, he's just, like, a goofy guy, right? Like he's kind of a jokester when he gets a little drunk, and
Yeah.
Kimimaro is just like so on the back foot by this because he's not a guy who's ever thought about jokes or pranks.
I mean, he's kind of a goofy guy regardless, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
right? And just like, I don't know, I think when he's drunk, he just kind of like brings more of that into his like fighting style, and I think that's beautiful.
He's usually like a goofy guy, kind of like playing at being like very like serious,
Uh
very
huh.
like committed and principled, right? And he's just like full on goofy boy. It's like really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hazel's one where he like just collapses on the ground and like starts sleeping, and then he like gets back up and is like, "Ha! I fucking got you, asshole! You thought I would sleep in the middle of a fight? What kind of fucking loser do you think I am?" And then just keeps doing that, and Kimimaro like every time he's like, "Okay, what's happening here? Why is this happening? What do I do about this?"
Yeah. It's amazing.
He's just like so fucking proud of himself like every time.
He's so happy about his special ninja trick.
Yeah, he's so happy that he can use his like powerful martial arts training to do pranks. Guy like usually when he's drunk, he's like too busy thinking about like what guy would want. But he's like, oh, I can't use my powerful martial arts ability to do pranks. But like now, nothing's stopping him.
Nothing can stop him. It's beautiful. I love my boy.
Yeah, he's getting all this like fucking repressed prank energy out like fast. I think like adding that layer of like constant like jokiness and like you have the serious guy like not sure how to like engage like it does a lot to like build on that sort of like drunken master archetype stuff, right? Like
Hmm.
because I feel like that really thrives when you like you play into like the intertwining of like action beats and comedy beats, and that's something the manga like really didn't have. Like sometimes we would make like a kind of silly face between punches, but it's like a pretty wordless like rapid exchange of blows that goes on here in the manga.
Okay.
And like I think it's like a lot of like really fun touches in here. Like I like the third time that Lee falls asleep, like Kimura's like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking stab him, and he just like starts dodging without opening his eyes.
Yeah.
And just we're like he's like charging into like attack him, he just like falls flat in his face and like gets back up and acts like it didn't happen. It's great. It's just really fun. But while we're having fun, we cut back to Tsunade and Guy who are like talking about how actually this is like very very serious.
Hmm.
Talking about how like back when we like first had some alcohol, he just like went fucking crazy and like destroyed like a restaurant, and like it took both him and Neji to like subdue him without hurting him. And I like love the like little like flashback shots we've got here of like Neji is trying to do his like serious cool guy poses to like do a dramatic battle, and Lita is just like showing off and doing tricks, like balancing on chairs and shit. I like having coincidentally destroyed a building by doing this somehow.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. There's just this constant of every time he does this, the like fucking extremely straight laced guys around him are like, oh god, what do I do here? The anime also like builds a little bit on the discussion that they have about this in the manga by like having this bit where like Tsunade and Guy are talking about how like yeah, like he's like basically like undefeatable in this state, but like he doesn't really know about like having restraint that much. So like it's like basically like a contest of like is Lee gonna like defeat his opponent first, or is his body gonna give out, right? And like there's this like extra layer of tension that like it calls back to like the part where like Lee is like still recovering, which I think like in some points the anime like does like a little bit more to like build on. Like there's that scene a while back we talked about where like Tsunade goes to talk to Lee about how like like sometimes an important part of getting stronger is like actually just taking time to recover or whatever.
Mm.
um and like ultimately there's only so seriously that the show can really take that, because ultimately Lee has to go get into a fight, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And like Rock Lee is just the guy that does this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like Rock Lee's like condition is always going to support him being the guy that does this right now.
The last thing I want to touch on in this half of the episode is that I was doing spoken into this, and like in terms of like episodes in this era of Naruto that have like some pretty like striking fun animation, this one is like considered like sort of an outlier because there's not like an easy like place to like pin those animation credits on.
Mm.
Um, there are a few animators on this episode, Nozomu Abe and Seiko Asai, who like go on to be like pretty talented and like pretty strong. I mean, like Nozomu Abe at this point, like I've talked about this before, but he's like one of the big ace animators at Ufotable right now. Um,
Yeah.
but like like at this point he hadn't really been like punching at that level, right? And this is like and like this like yeah, this is like information that's like in like speculation sort of driven by like a Twitter and Sakubur user Purple Gath, who I've talked about it a bit before, just to somebody who is like very knowledgeable about this, who like reading the stuff that this person has to say has like built a lot of the foundation of my knowledge about like Naruto's staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
um But like the closest speculation that we have is that like presumably it was the episode director Shinji Sato doing like corrections on the animation here. And like maybe like some of this was Nozomu Abe, maybe some of it was like some other people, but like which lends this quality where it's like it doesn't quite feel like any of the like main animators that like are here, and there's no like a consistency you can like use to like place it as like any of those people's work. And it's like interesting to me just in the sense of like I feel like in the modern era, unless it's like in like a big episode where like there's somebody who's taking on a bunch of roles, somebody who's like very specifically like, oh, they're like directing and storyboarding and animation directing it or whatever, you don't really get that level of like, oh, the episode director is like coming in here and doing corrections, just because like so much of anime production is like so fragmented at this point, is like under such tight constraints that like the people who are in that position are like they don't have the ability to like work in concert with like people at other levels of production quite so much to like get that to get that work on. It's like sort of fascinating to me to see that like there is an extent to which my knowledge being so like focused on like a lot of like more modern stuff kind of like leaves me like caught off guard by like some of the ways that like, oh yeah, here's what could happen when things are like a little less dire in the industry maybe.
Yeah, that's like actually really interesting, right? Because I don't know, like obviously it was still probably pretty dire.
Right, like I don't think it's ever been like great to work in anime, right? And it comes up like multiple times. Like there's like like in a later episode we're covering this time. There is another cut that is like confirmed by somebody who worked on the episode to have been corrected by Toshiya Niedome on like an episode he directed, which is just like really fascinating to me. That guy's like doing so much fucking work on this show. Like he storyboarded this episode, he storyboarded a third episode this week and directed it, and like was also doing animation corrections there, which is like it's like an unbelievable like level of output. It's kind of stunning.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything else you want to say about this half of the episode?
No, not really. Do you want to move on?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Kimimaro activates his curse mark and manages to cut Lee's cheek, but that's all it takes to sober him up. Lee's suffering from a headache, giving Kimimaro an opportunity to explain his bone powers. He controls his bones. Rock Lee moves into attack, but Kimimaro covers himself in very hard bone spikes and does a gay little spin, so Lee gets cut up. Ukon sneaks up on Kiba by wearing Kiba's discarded jacket to mask his smell. Lee tries Primary Lotus, but Kimimaro catches Lee's foot in some bone spikes. Shikamaru loses his grip onto Yuya, and Ukon moves in to stab Kiba. The Sand siblings intercept and stand in defense of their new Leaf allies.
But yeah, so Kimimaro has fucking had it with silly time.
Yeah.
You know, he's sick of dodging Lee's shit. Lee's just kind of like stumbling around, like, hey, by the way, I'm not drunk. It would be like super illegal for me to be drunk, so like, don't worry about it. And Kimimaro just getting like kind of pissed off. He goes like super extra bone mode. He needs this fight to be on his fucking level again, you know.
Yeah, I love Rock Lee's energy here.
It's so good.
I can't be fucking drunk. I'm a minor. That's illegal.
Yeah, I can't go to jail. Yeah, Kimaru's had it. He like hits Rock Lee once and like basically instantly ends the drunken master shit. So like, you know, I guess there are a few ways out other than like Lee defeating Kimimaro and destroying his body. And Kimimaro takes the opportunity to like he does his power explanations thing, which like I feel like he really like summed up. Like he explains his bone powers. He controls his bones, right? Like he starts talking about like, oh yeah, I control my osteoblasts and my osteoclasts, and I can form new bones at will. And like as he's saying it, he like grows an extra rib out of his chest just to like prove that he can create more bones. There's like this weird through line in this arc where like, you know, the first time we met some Orochimaru's guys, they all had like machines and stuff in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like machines that they had equipped or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess it was only like Zaku had like a thing in his arm. And like this time it's like, okay, a lot of these guys have like powers or like digging into like how their like biology works or whatever, right? Like fucking Kidomaru had his like skin goop that he like explained how it came out of his like sweat glands or whatever, and like Sakon and Nukon had their whole like extremely rambling thing that Kiba got bored by. And now Kimaru's like trying to like ground his like super bone power like this extremely vague sense of like, well, here's some terminology that like makes it seem like a little more real or whatever. It's like I guess I understand what this is doing. Is like here's like a new squad of like Orochimaru's weird science guys or whatever.
Yeah.
But it does seem like very silly every time it comes up, because it's just like we don't really need all this information. Like we can see that he makes his bones do whatever he wants, so we're good with that.
Yeah. I mean, you can spend like 5 minutes just like listing the things that make up bones and saying you can control all of those. But like,
Right.
you know,
And
yeah,
it doesn't really like change our understanding of the situation. There's not like a trick about like what makes up bones that's gonna come out here, right?
no.
Do you think it's just like, oh, he heard like Orochimaru and Kabuto talking about it, it's like, oh my god, this sounds like really important. I need to tell everybody about bones.
No, he's just showing off how much he knows about bones. All the like bone words he knows.
Yeah, okay.
Like I know he says it in the dub. I can't quite remember if it's the same like line in the sub where he just like says like the normal human body has this many bones, but like obviously uh I'm built different.
I can make myself have more bones, or like maybe even less bones if I wanted to, but that doesn't really seem very helpful.
Yeah. Um it's just like he's literally just like dropping all of his bone facts. It's like pretty cool actually.
Uh, yeah, Leah's like not super convinced. Like, okay, well, I know about bones. If there's one thing I know about bones, is that they can be broken. I have a lot of experience with this. He rushes in and learns that he can't actually break bones.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, let the Bone Kid info dump. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah, he also, I love he call it his like gay little spin that he does.
Yeah.
Because like in the manga, he's like, hey, here's my like, I forget what he calls it, like which number of dances, what he calls the dance, but like they didn't really show the particulars of the attacks in the anime. I guess they've like kind of used up a lot of their like inventiveness. So he's just like got spikes coming out of him, and he like stands and like spins in place and like keeps catching Rock Lee in on spikes. He like spins in the air.
Yeah.
Now, like in my mind, that just keeps going until it cuts away, but that might not be true.
No, I think that's true.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like everybody else is just doing fucking bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Shikamaru is still just like fucking standing there. He's doing his like choke war or whatever. It's still not very interesting. He doesn't have any tricks. Kiba's like hiding in the woods, right? But like Ukon like sneaks up on him using Kiba's jacket. And like again, like so yeah, they're like they don't have shit they can do, but like there's also kind of an element where it's like, oh, we've like really moved past like anything that the like remaining members of the Sound Four can do too, right? Like they're just kind of like they're like also out of tricks. It's just that like they don't have anything else they can do except for like get killed when the Sand guys show up.
Yeah.
In the full context of it, it's like it's hard to feel like they're that imposing because like these guys also don't have any tools left in their arsenal, right? But it is what it is. The Sand guys are approaching. There's like this cut of them like getting closer where it's like they're all like moving under like tall grass and like jumping out of it. Like it has this like energy of like, oh yeah, when you're like a kid and you're like sneaking in the grass and you're like jumping out of it sometimes. It just felt like very silly to me.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like when you're that's ninjas. Like ninjas do that.
Right, but like there's not like I don't know. It's just like it just feels like maybe the grass is tall enough from the height under, but like it just brings to mind this image of them like crawling on their hands and knees. It's like you don't need to do that. You could just go for it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's like super distracted. It's fine. This isn't like super substantial point.
No. It is a little bit silly of a visual.
I mean, it's to show them getting closer without like revealing who it is yet. Like that's why it exists.
Yeah.
Like regardless of when those silly, they do show up, and like I gotta say, it's just like pretty fucking sick,
Yeah.
I do love the Sand siblings. It turns out, like I am just happy to see them.
It's always good to see family on screen.
Like Kankuro, he'll like pull through pretty well in the next episode, but he's like maybe making the weakest showing because he's just has like a puppet get stabbed here. Whereas like fucking Gaara's like making like a precision sand explosion to like blast Lee out of danger, and Temari just like immediately fucking sends like Tayuya specifically flying, like while Shikamaru is like right there. I mean,
yeah.
I guess Kankuro doesn't really have like an equivalent attack. Like it wouldn't really help to just like shoot poison at both like Sakon and Kiba, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess the other thing I want to say about this part of the episode that like I move past a little bit is that like when we cut back to Lee before like Gar rescues him, he's like extremely on his bullshit. Like he is like days out from surgery and he is still immediately like, okay, all right, I know this is gonna be bad for me, but like maybe now I can use my technique that destroys my body a little bit. Like maybe this time it's like fine for me to do just a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
He just wants an opportunity to bust it out, like whenever possible.
Dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Love the boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Never change.
Never change. I mean, you know.
Never change, you stupid animal.
Wow, okay. Did you have anything else you want to say about this episode?
Now you want to move on?
I'm good to move on.
Okay. Episode 125, The Sand Shinobi, Allies of the Leaf. Kimimaro introduces himself to Gaara with some easily blocked finger bone projectiles. With Temari on the scene, Shikamaru can't help but break out his misogyny. She shuts him up by sending Yuya running, as a gust of wind cuts down half the forest in front of them. Kankuro stands off against Ukon, but gets surprised by Sakon sneaking up and attempting to enter his body. But the body Sakon tried to enter was Black Ant, another one of Kankuro's puppets. Kankuro has Black Ant grab Sakon with his serrated blade arms.
Okay. It's like right at the top of this episode. I really like the scene with like Gaara and Lee like talking for a little bit. Because I love how much it's like Gaara is like kind of trying to be a little bit nicer, but he doesn't really know how. He's still like kind of like an asshole. He's like, oh, Lee, you were like much like stronger and sharper the last time I fought you. He was like, yeah, I mean, you know, like I kind of had some stuff happen, like, you know, maybe because of you.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously this is like a little bit later in the episode, or like, I think it's like more focused next episode, but like the extent to which like Gaara like notices Lee's injuries and is just like, let me handle it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's like kind of cute. It's like
he is being comparatively like nice to Lee the way that he knows how, but like that's like looking at a kid who's just recovering from like a life-threatening surgery that like he made him need to have and go like, huh, I remember you being stronger, or like again like the thing in the next episode where he's like, let me handle this, where he like the way he stops Lee and he just like fucking trips him, makes him fall flat on his face, right? Like he's doing his best, but he like, you know, he doesn't really get it yet, and it's great. I love Gaara so much.
I love him so much. He's getting there.
He's getting there. He's learning.
It's been so little time.
And he's made some great progress. He's like not even trying to like kill people arbitrarily at all.
Yeah.
He like thinks about the great daddy owes to the leaf, and then like just sort of like thinks about Naruto for a while because he's like super in love.
Yeah.
Like there's a part of me like kind of wishes we had like more room for like Lee being like kind of frustrated by Gaara being here, like there's more room to like juice that for drama or whatever, but like I also get that that's not really that comic, and like, you know, I like Lee being a guy who like be kind of like gracious beyond reason about this,
yeah,
especially because it makes how much of a bitch Shikamaru is like a million times funnier. What's wrong with that guy?
yeah God.
Temari shows up help. He's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this shit! Like, you were fucking working against us with the sound earlier, and now you're like working with us against the sound. Do you have like no fucking loyalty?" And she's like, "Oh my god, you fucking idiot! I can't believe you made June and I didn't. Like, this is called having the job that we have. Fucking get over it yourself."
Yeah. Also, Tamari's presence like in this like little segment, against Yuya, really makes us remember that time in the Chunin exams.
Yeah, where like Shikamaru hid behind like one tiny shitty tree.
Yeah. Did
I don't know.
I mean, like, I guess you could say that the Sand siblings were instructed to like not make too much of a showing during the actual exams because they weren't there to be tuning.
Right, but like, I feel like given what we've seen that she could do, given what we saw that she could do, like even immediately after like that fight, like much less now, I think it wouldn't have been like a stretch of like what we know she's capable of to just cut through that little shitty tree. Like, god damn it.
Yeah, right? Like she should have just cut through the tree like way up to the top and just been like, all right, give up. And then Shikamaru says no, and she cuts down like another foot. Like, okay, we can keep doing this. I'm just one foot at a time. I'm just gonna keep chopping down, and just I don't know how low you are right now, but
Yeah, I mean, like, you can just keep crouching if you don't want to get hit. Eventually you run on a tree. No, Shikamaru's got his fucking, like, girl warping field, but, like, it seems to be, like, he's too tired out to activate it right now, so Temari gets to be strong. I do like that she's also like, oh my god, Shikamaru, fucking shut up about your gender bullshit. Like, stop talking about this fucking, like, oh, I hate being saved by a woman bullshit. You want me to let you die? I can leave again, but, like,
Yeah.
it's like my job to be here, actually, so, like, fuck you. She's too good for him.
She's way too good for him.
But she's, like really, really fun in like, all her scenes in this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it is just great to hear just, like, cut through, like, all of our fucking frustrations they've had about Shikamaru, like, basically every time she says anything. Also, like when she still shows up, like, Taiyu is also, like, tries to, like, hey, you were, like, working with us earlier, now you're working with them. Don't you have the fucking loyalty? He's like, I'm not even gonna answer this. I just fucking dealt with this shit. I'm just gonna, like, cut your flute in half and, like, cut down a million trees. Fuck off.
Yeah. With one swipe. Like, just fucking. Like, I'm so mad that Shikamaru fight was what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even have hated it if, like, it still, like, ended up being what it was, like, at the end, right? If it was still, like, Shikamaru, like, figuring out her deal and, like, outmaneuvering her and getting her with the shadow possession, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it just actually had her doing the thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know?
Like, if it didn't just make her, like, powers, like, weaker in that one scene only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because, like, if they elevated Shikamaru to be able to deal with it, that's always better than, like, the other way, right?
Yeah. But that's just not how it goes in, like, our experience so far,
Yeah, nah, I guess.
Meanwhile, like, Kiba and, like, Kankuro don't really have, like, any history at all, right? So there's, like, nothing really to play on there other than, like, I guess, like, they sort of all have, like, like, everybody in this fight sort of has, like, a thing where they have, like, another, like, guy, sort of,
Yeah.
But there's like, really any dynamic there,
Yeah, Kiba's kind of just like, oh, cool, backup. Hi.
Oh, cool. All right. Okay. I smelled you coming. Okay, you're not here to kill me. That's great. I'm just gonna, like, slump against this tree for a while.
And also, like, warn you about their, like, power or whatever, right? Like,
yeah. Like, don't let him grab your face. And Conqueror's like, actually, it's, like, really good for when somebody has, like, a grabbing my face based technique. Because that lets me, like, fucking mince them.
Yeah.
Like, Sakura and Dukan, like, do not have, like, a good fucking showing here at all, right? Like, Kankuro shows up to help, and, like, meanwhile, like, Ukon's, like, out in the fucking, like, river, like, walking away from her. I was like, actually, I should go and, like, check out what's up with, or wait, no, is Sakura's on the river, maybe? I don't fucking remember. It's, whatever. What if, like, she, like, shows up, right? And then, like, Ukon, like, hangs back. He's like, okay, I'm, like, still feeling my knife, like, just a little bit, so, like, how about you handle this? And then, like, goes back for Sakura, like, instantly, right?
Yeah.
They're just not really, like, they're not really taking advantage of what they're able to do here at all.
No.
Is there anything else you gotta say about this half of the episode?
Nah, let's press on.
Okay. Alright.
Sakon hops into Ukon to rest and recover. Kankuro goes on the offensive with Crow, leading Ukon to trip up and fall into the waiting Black Ant's chest cavity. With the twins locked inside Black Ant, Crow separates into all of its different components, each sprouting a long blade. Ukon gets stabbed up bad through all the little slots in Black Ant's body. Temari has Shikamaru explain to Yuya's deal. He explains her use of the flute and genjutsu, then suggests they retreat. But Temari tells him to go fuck himself and summons a Scythe Weasel that cuts the rest of the woods and to Yuya down with another big wind attack.
Right, so things continue to go, like, very bad for Sakura and Ukon, right? Like, Ukon's like, okay, I'm gonna go take my little bro back into my back and I'll handle this now. He's like, yeah, my knife wound's, like, all better now. And, like, Kiba's like, oh my god, his knife wound is better. His recovery ability is, like, amazing, right? And, like, me personally, I wouldn't, like, turn down the ability to, like, get better from, like, being stabbed in the gut in 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, like, that's pretty good.
But it doesn't really register on the scale of, like, healing abilities we've seen in Naruto, Like, it's just not that impressive, right? Like, oh, yeah, like...
Yeah, I mean, like, this is probably, like, A-tier heal ability.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, we've seen
we've seen like 3 guys with like better than that. Like Naruto just does this on his fucking own,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know, Kabuto can like automatically heal himself. And, like Tsunade has like her super mode where she can just like immediately strong up any injury. So it's just like, I mean, like yeah, I guess, but like it feels weird that you're drawing attention to it.
Yeah. Right, but those are like Tsunade is like
No, like I get that those are like the strongest dudes, right?
yeah.
But it just doesn't. It's just not gonna register as impressive to the audience, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when you've got somebody who can like punch holes through the walls, and then like you see somebody who's like, yeah, I guess I know this guy isn't as strong as that guy, and he can like make a dent in the wall. It's like, yeah, I guess that's fine, but like I know people can punch holes in the wall, so like fucking step it up.
Yeah, fucking step it up.
Anyway, yeah, but yeah, Ukon doesn't last long. You know, he does some fucking gay little flips and like stumbles back into a fucking like spike zone, right?
Mhm.
And then he's dead. I guess Kiba just like sort of sits there watching. I was like, God damn it, I like that jacket.
Yeah, fair. I mean, it's a good jacket.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe it's cooler now with a bunch of stab wounds.
Maybe, but like Ukon also like activates his like big arm for a moment, and, like tears off one of the sleeves, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Fuck.
it's like all fucked. He needs a new one.
God damn, buddy, that's rough.
And, like he doesn't know Kankuro to be like, hey, can you like open up your puppet? I need to like pry my jacket off a dead guy.
No, but I think that's a great icebreaker. I think that's that's how you make new friends.
Okay. This is from like I'm just thinking about Kiba, right? There's like a little Kiba thing that I like that I like remember thinking was cute that I forgot to touch on from like last episode. But like when Ukon like walks up to stab him,
Mhm.
I really like that Kiba's like even in that moment he's just like still doing his best, just like pet Akamaru and be reassuring.
Yeah.
He just loves his puppy.
Slush is puffy. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wish I had someone hold me like that. God damn.
God damn. Yeah. Meanwhile, back in the like Shikamaru and Temari and Tayuya zone, Tamari's like, hey, okay, Shikamaru, tell me what's up. And Shikamaru like does this thing, like explains the situation, explains like how Genjutsu works, and like the main thing I want to touch on here is like, okay, he talks about how like Genjutsu like usually act on like one of the 5 senses, right? You know, you got your like sight, sound, touch, taste, and like smell, right? And like
Mhm.
I feel like there's a pretty wide range of efficacy here, right? Like obviously sound is like pretty strong to talk about, you know.
Yeah.
Vision is like pretty strong. Like we see like Itachi being able to like use like the fact that he's like got his like eyes that will put you in fucking brain health. You look at him to like apply out a lot of like pressure that makes people have to like fight awkwardly by like not being able to look at his face.
Mhm.
If you're like a scent guy, I guess you can have like like a weird perfume that you're wearing when you're fighting guys, right? That can like put them on edge and be like hard for them to avoid getting like hit by.
Yeah, like you imagine fighting someone when you have to hold your fucking breath. That's hard.
It's hard, right? We get to touch. It's like a little bit like I guess I don't know how you do that. Like maybe you like maybe you're like I don't know, like sneaking up on somebody and like
Like tickling them?
yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Maybe you like switch out their like shirt while they're not paying attention for like a different shirt that like helps you activate your Genjutsu with its weird texture.
Uh-huh.
When you get to taste,
Taste is rough. You gotta like
just fucking poison them.
yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, okay, but like understand that like just because it can be done doesn't mean it's like a standard practice.
Right. I guess I'm just thinking like, somewhere out there is like a fucking like taste-based Genjutsu guy, and like everybody's constantly getting his ass about this.
Okay, but also imagine okay, it's like a big fancy restaurant
Mm-hmm.
and the beautiful dishes put you into like nice genjutsu.
Oh my god, that's wonderful. I was only thinking about the ways you can use to hurt people.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Oh my god, my limited perspective of the world has really been revealed here. I should be thinking about nice Genjutsu more often.
Yeah.
Like a big cozy blanket that lets you have sweet dreams for touch-based Genjutsu. That's wonderful. Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Oh my god, the world is a magical place, and we don't have to use our ninja powers for hurting only.
Yeah, yeah. This is what war does to us.
Oh my god. We gotta get out of here.
We gotta get out of here. We gotta find peace.
Oh my god, we gotta find peace. Also, like, another great Temari moment is that, like, Shikamaru, like, finishes explaining the situation with, like, Teiyu's Genjutsu, and he's like, okay, and my suggestion is like, no, shut the fuck up. Like, you got me what I needed already. I'm just gonna fucking destroy the whole forest here instantly. It's great. She's a fucking hero. She's so cool here.
Yeah.
She's never gonna do anything again, but, like, she's so much fun here.
She's amazing. I love the Scythe Weasel.
Yeah, I love her Scythe Weasel.
Do we know anything about the Scythe Weasel?
Not really, no.
Okay. I'll ask her about it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's like kind of based on a yokai or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I don't know that it's like a guy or whatever.
God, it's gonna be hard to see those kids for a while.
Yeah.
On account of how I'm like a rogue shinobi now.
Yeah. It's okay. It'll all work out.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you want to say here?
Nah, let's move on. Episode 126, Showdown. Gaara versus Kimimaro. Gaara takes note of Lee's injuries and tells him to back off. Lee warns him about Kimimaro's bone powers. They exchange attacks before Gaara gets him with the classic sand burial. Naruto chases Sasuke into a scary tunnel, and Kimimaro recalls his childhood spent in jail and made to fight. Kimimaro activates his curse mark and survives crushing with a full-body subdermal layer of bone.
The first thing I want to touch on here, right, is that like, when like Gaara is noticing Rock Lee's injuries, right, like in the manga, he like looks at Lee's like bandages and he sees like him like he's a bunch of like blood pooling out from under the bandages or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the anime, there's like this really weird situation where like when he looks at Lee's arm, he can only see like a little bit of blood on the bandages. I don't know if there's like some like limitation about that, but also he's like still bleeding a lot. Like we see like blood dripping out down from his arm, but just not in any part of the bandages we can see.
Yeah.
It's like a very strange vibe. It's like a I don't know if it's just like some like weird intersection of like broadcast standards for like this time slot or whatever. But
or I mean, it could also just be the case of just like drawing the blood like pool up in the bandages would be hard to draw. So let's just work around that.
They could at least put like a little bit more blood on the part that we see, right?
Sure.
They don't have to like animate all of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, Gaara, like like we talked about earlier, he like he's like, okay, Lee, I'm gonna handle this, and Lee's like, no, I'm totally gonna do this, and then like Gaara just like trips him, he's like, no, seriously, let me take this. And like Kimimaro is just like deeply unimpressed. He's just like, oh, so you're Gaara of the sand, huh? What are you gonna do? Hit me with sand? You're a sand guy? Fucking lame. Fucking cringe.
Fucking cringe.
He's just like so fucking confident that Gaara's sand is like bullshit.
honestly, king shit.
Yeah. Like I mean, I guess it's pretty strong to be like, yeah, okay, I've heard about your like fucking like invincible defense ability or whatever. I think it fucking sucks ass, and I'm gonna kill you easily. And like, I guess he probably could.
Yeah.
Ultimately, but he's holding back a lot at the start. He's doing a lot of like shooting his finger bones more, which isn't gonna work.
Yeah, it's a projectile attack in Naruto. It's not gonna work.
It's a projectile attack in Naruto against Gaara.
Yeah. It's
like that one fucking post about like playing in that Dragon Ball RPG and trying to kill Raditz with a gun. I don't know if you know what post I'm talking about, but I think about it all the time.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay, I'll see if I can find that for you because it's beautiful.
Okay.
But anyway, Kimimaro talking about like, oh, you only have so much sand, so I just have to fucking, I don't know, like dodge around until you use up all your sand. And like Gaara's like, okay, asshole, guess again.
Yeah,
I've got infinite sand here.
Yeah, guess again.
I've got infinite sand that's coming out of the ground, and now you're fucking like covered in sand. I'm gonna crush you and kill you. It's a classic Gaara move.
Mm-hmm.
He does a sand barrier, like a little bit of blood comes out of the sand, and we cut off to Naruto, right? This is where the episode starts to like really dip into like there's a lot of stuff in this episode that's just like anime original scenes, right? Like most of the rest of it that isn't like Gaara and Kimimaro fighting is just like this is new to the anime. Like Naruto like chases Sasuke out of the field and like enters the like visual metaphor land.
Yeah.
he runs out of the forest and he's like looking around. It's like, oh, where is Sasuke going? Oh no, he's like jumping up on top of like a bunch of like scary rocks, right? Um, but like to pursue like Sasuke, he doesn't even like jump up there. He just like wanders down into the tunnel into like the fucking dream realm. He's just in like fucking like abstract visual representation world for whatever reason. And it's like fine. It's like pretty fun, I guess.
I mean, it's normal.
It's normal, right? Like there's like some fun stuff where he's like walking in the dark and he's like, you know, he's like stepping in some kind of like water or whatever. And like when there's like the ripples coming from his feet, he like sees Sasuke's reflection beneath him, and like, you know, it's just like all a little bit played up. And it's like, okay, yeah, he's like he's thinking about how he used to be lonely. He's thinking about his connection he has to this guy, and it's just like there's this level of like visual stylism here that I think is just like fundamentally pretty fun.
Yeah, totally.
It's mostly just like striking to me in the way that like it kind of like blends this directly into like, oh, Naruto is like going into this space and he's like stuck here that he needs to like break out of it as this like action that is like literally happening in this moment in the fight. Meanwhile, like Naruto's like thinking about his past and like, you know, being in like whatever this place is, like sort of blends into like Kimimaro thinking about his own past, you know, being in the fucking baby jail. He's doing bad in the baby jail. He's like,
what the fuck? I'm just a baby. Why am I in jail?
Why am I in jail? This sucks. I'm just gonna like stab the wall and be like weird and tense and like wonder if God is real. He has like a face that he's like carved into the wall. He like sometimes like sadly caresses and like stabs around.
Yeah.
You know, it's I guess you gotta have something to do, and there's like not a lot of options for hobbies when you're in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it. Sometimes you're like stabbing the wall, and then, you know, just like that thing happens where like your brain kind of just like extrapolates a face out of like any 3 given points.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just like, ooh, that looks like a face, and then you kind of like work at it to make it look more like a face. Then you have this like big face carved into your wall, and you're just like, well, who else am I going to talk to?
Yeah, okay. Like, hey, face, does God exist? Does he hate me? Is that what's going on here? But anyway, this is enough to make him activate the curse mark, and he comes out with this fucking like gross like sub-skin bone carapace.
Yeah, see, if I were in such position, I simply would have saved my skin by making the bone carapace over the skin.
Right. I mean, like the unspoken thing about Kimaru's parts that he like never directly talks about because he only talks about bones is that like his flesh heals really fast, basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
This is especially evident in the manga, where like whenever he's like, like taking bones out of himself, like really plays it up. Like when he's like firing his like finger bullets in the manga, like his like the tips of his fingers like split open and like launches the bones out. And it's like super gross.
Yeah. Woohoo!
So he can just like heal like from basically anything that he does to himself at the very least very fast. Which I guess is like the fact that he does this is another thing that makes like fucking Sakaruka feel like even more unimpressive, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I know he's also like a super special guy or whatever, but like, you know. Just why even bother? Why even bother healing at all?
Right. Honestly,
she should just be like, okay, fuck, I guess I'm just gonna walk into like Black Ant now. I'm done for. Fuck this.
Like honestly, I think it would have been cooler if Kimimaro like didn't heal.
He was just like super fucked up.
Yeah, right. Because like
the rest of the fight, he's like dying anyway, I guess, right?
Yeah, right. Because like his plan is to like get Sasuke to Orochimaru and then die.
Mm-hmm.
And like Sasuke just took off running.
Yeah.
So he just has to like go all out, kill these 2 chuckle fucks, and then die.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be cool as fuck if he just like shot his fingers off and like didn't regrow the flesh of them.
But you have to consider like the limits of what you can put in like Shonen Jump, much less what you can put on like the time slot that Naruto is in.
No, I understand. I'm just saying in the like real in the real life version.
In the version of Naruto that really happened that we live in.
Yeah. Not the like manga and anime like adaptate like retelling.
Mm-hmm.
One, everybody's a lot gayer.
And a lot of censorship going on there.
Yeah. And 2, Kimimaro cannot heal faster than like the average Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of yucky.
It's a little bit yucky.
But you know what? We love him for it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all right.
like he can use his like bone growths to like keep himself from bleeding out, right? Like he can do that.
Oh God, like he has like these weird like fake like temporary bone bandages
Yeah, yeah,
where he's
yeah.
like bone going over to the oh God. Ah.
Yeah, like he explodes his hand to like shoot his fingers out, and then he just has like a bone hand.
Okay, sure. I mean, he can like a carrot face or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, sure.
You wanna move on?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm done this half of the episode.
Okay. Gaara buries Kimimaro under a huge wave of sand. Kimimaro remembers being sent to attack the Mist Village and running across Zabuza and Haku briefly before finding Orochimaru, who encourages him to go on with the assault. Come morning, Kimimaro is the only surviving member of his clan. He wanders on his own for a while before being taken in by Orochimaru. Kimimaro progresses to the second stage of its curse mark and grows a sick tail.
Yeah, so Gaara just like fucks up this whole stretch of forest forever. That's just not getting fixed.
Yeah, no. That's fine.
Like he can't take that with him.
Yeah, fucking Temari did the same shit.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's like slightly different. Like Temari's will probably like regrow, right?
I don't know that anything's growing here anytime in the near future.
Yeah, yeah. Gaara just like straight up like changed the like soil quality.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's a little bit harder to come back from, I think.
He changed the soil quality and then put a lot of the new sand that exists here now on top of the old soil.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty sick, but like damn.
do you think when the fight's done, Gaara just kind of mixes it all back in?
Oh my God, maybe he does. Maybe he's like a really like environmentally conscious like sweet boy, and he's just like, hey, Lee, go back to the village. I'm gonna fix this, and
I'm just gonna clean up here.
Redistribute all of this like grains of sand back into the dirt normally. Just sits there for like a week.
Well, he's got the sand powers. I figure it's something he can do pretty fast.
Okay, I sort of assumed to be like slower to like make it go back, but like maybe he's actually like really good at it. Maybe he can do it like a couple hours.
Yeah, he's probably like really good at it.
I love this vision for him. I hope he does that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if there were any animals here, like sorry, but like
yeah, sorry worms, sorry moles,
sorry worms, any like squirrels or anything that couldn't get away fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, like same for Temari's stuff, right? Like, But you know, I don't know, that's war.
That's war for you.
That's war for you.
Yeah, and then we get like a whole bunch of like anime original Kimimaro flashback stuff. This is all like extrapolating off of like a page-and-a-half conversation that Orochimaru and Kabuto have about like Kimimaru's backstory and like where he came from.
Okay.
And I talked briefly about the Kaguya clan, which is like something that's later going to have like a much more significant like lore meaning or whatever. I don't know if that was like even under consideration right now, but like you know, like the thing that's like an interesting choice, I guess, when it comes to the specific depiction of the clan is that like Orochimaru talks about how like I'm gonna like read the quote directly from the Viz translation here. He says, "The Kaguya clan was a clutch of rabble, knowing only the thirst for war. By what I saw of them, the battlefield was the only place they could find their peace. But the era of bloodthirsty beast herds has long passed." Which is like, when I read that, I'm like, okay, Orochimaru is like maybe like exaggerating a little bit. He's like maybe being a little bit like, Orochimaru is kind of an asshole, you know? He's kind of like quick to say a lot of people are like very, very beneath him in this very literal sense. But the way the anime takes this is like so literal, where they're just this like band of like sickos who like stand around and like grimace weirdly and have their eyes twitch and stuff, and then like go and start killing people.
Yeah,
like it's the vibes are fucking off. I don't know. There's like this very like there's this like very like weird like dehumanization of these people. It's like Kimimaru is just like standing in the middle of them as a sad boy. It's like weird. I don't love it.
Yeah, and like none of them look like him.
No, they've like I think they've like kind of got like the same hair thing going on like at the top maybe. They got like the eyebrows maybe. Or not the eyebrows, like paintings above their eyebrows, you know, like
right. But like I don't know, I feel like more than just him should have had the white hair.
Yeah, at the very least, right? Like it could be like a distinctive thing about them. Maybe they could be
Mhm.
like,
I mean, like especially like obviously they didn't know, right? But especially with where they're going with it.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. They should maybe all have the like white hair, and they're like maybe all kind of like weird anime twinks. And, like they don't all have the bone powers, obviously. Like that's like a very special thing that Kimimaro has. Like most of them don't have that, and that's why he's like locked up in a cage.
Yeah,
But yeah, like it's weird.
they should all be pretty like weird, pale white haired anime like waifish guys, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is that like in the manga, Orochimaru does talk about how they attacked the village in the mist and they like died there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but the anime like really, really like conflates a lot of things where they're like moving to attack it because they know that Zabuza just tried to assassinate the Mizukage, and like Kimimaro like runs into like Zabuza and Haku as they're leaving after Zabuza tries to attack the Mizukage, right?
Yeah.
Um, which is like very silly, right? Like if I'm like giving this the maximum amount of credit, I could be like, oh yeah, remember like way back in the Land of Waves arc where like Kakashi like imagined like Zabuza like running away from like the village hidden in the mist with like this like bunch of cohorts while like the whole thing was like in flames, and like maybe that is a way that like the village in the mist has like tried to like conflate these two events to like make Zabuza seem like a more dangerous rogue actor who like can't be trusted to like work with you or whatever. But like obviously that's not on purpose. There's no way that shit was like meant to connect in that way.
Yeah, no
Um,
way. I mean, retroactively, now that things are the way they are,
mm-hmm.
in the show, right? Like, yeah, okay, like that is like a reading you can have, but like, but like that's that's not like intentional.
Right, like these are like two separate like anime original visuals that were like created like years apart by like two different like teams with like not a huge amount of like. I mean, there's some amount of like overlap, right? But like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's the same production, obviously, right? But like it's just like I don't think that's like actually what's going on here. Even if I think it's like if we're trying to like construct this like weird coincidence, I guess it's like I guess that's a direction you could take it. Like Aku's like, oh my god, he has like the same eyes that I do, because Aku is always just the guy who's like, oh my god, he's like me, he's the originator of this classic technique.
Yeah.
I think that like we should just keep going back to this scene. We should just keep fucking adding to it like every time we learn about like a village hidden the mist character. Like we learn what they were doing at this night, right? Like fucking but he runs across fucking Ao, and he's like, hey kid, don't mess with me. I have a Byakugan that I stole from somebody. And like Chojo is like 10 years old. He's like trying to pick up his like shitty sword, and like Kimaru's like, okay, I'm not gonna bother with him. Um, I don't know what May's up to. I don't have. She doesn't have a lot going on other than like being sad she's not married. Maybe like Obito's just fucking chilling in the fucking like Mizukaga's office and be like, oh damn, I'm not gonna get involved in that. I'm just gonna keep fucking hypnotizing Yaga right here. Just keep building on this. Like, go all the fucking way if you're gonna do this through this shit. I'm like, oh, everybody's here. He like runs into her, like, because the thing that goes up like run to Rochimaru, who's like also here, like on this same day when like all this shit was happening, just coincidentally, be like, hey, don't fuck with me. I don't live with the mist. Go kill other guys. It's fine.
Yeah. God, it's so funny too. Like the kid runs up on Zabuza, right? And he's just
Uh-huh.
like, "Are you guys from the mist?" And Zabuza's just like, "No."
No, not anymore.
Like, oh, okay, sorry. Keeps going. It's so fucking funny.
Does he like ask this about like everybody he runs into? He's like in the village, like, hey, do you live here? Or are you just like a tourist?
Well, he does that to Zabuza, and he's just like, "Fucking goddamn it, that's stupid. I shouldn't do that." And so he just runs up on Orochimaru, and Orochimaru's just like, "Okay, kid, calm down. I'm not from here." And he's just like, "Should have fucking asked."
God.
Anyway, those two embarrassing interactions back to back is why he's like this.
Like surprisingly little influence on the like from the being kept in baby jail part.
Yeah, no, it was just the embarrassment.
He eventually was just like running around the village with the rest of the guys, and like he like kills some of them, but at some point he just decides to back off while the rest of them are all dead.
Yeah.
Like there's like a pretty cool action cut of like baby Kimimaro just like killing some fucking dudes.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Um, yeah, that was the one I was talking about. That like Masaru Hyoto on Twitter confirmed that like it was a lot of Toshiyuki Idoma corrections. There's like there's really like well flowing thing where he's just like spinning around like making like a bone shield on his hand to like block sword attack. There's like this really great moment that's like in a separate cut that I don't think is attributed as clearly, but like where he gets like hit in the back and then like some bones grow out of his back to like catch the fucking sword.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah, so he does the cool fight, and then his whole family dies.
Mm-hmm. And he's just like sitting in a tree somewhere and be like, oh shit, I have to leave.
Yeah, and then he goes and gets mad at a flower.
Like, yeah. Orochimaru's like, hey, what's up? I'm still out in the mist. You want to come hang out? You know, maybe there's a reason living, but like maybe you'll keep saying interesting things like this flower, or like me seeing you, which is like a cool, interesting thing worth living for. And like this exact moment of Orochimaru like expressing this like, you know, any amount of interest at all, is just enough to like doom Kimimaro forever.
Yep.
It's fucking over for this kid.
Oh yeah.
Naruto is like really, really a world where you can just like your fate is decided by like how shitty the guy you meet when you're sad is.
Yeah, if you're an orphan, if you're like a sad orphan boy, like the kind of adult who finds you and is just like, hey, maybe you're worth something after all. Fucking that is the deciding factor.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I want to go and find a bunch of fucking orphans.
Right. I think we could do a better job than like, you know, some of the guys we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's maybe a little bit out of Zabuza's hands, I think, with the way they did there. But like,
Zabuza did his best.
yeah. But like Orochimaru, for as much as we respect the guy, I just don't think he's really qualified for this position.
Yeah. Okay, like I love Orochimaru, right? He's a great guy when you get to know him. I will say, technically speaking, I don't think we're working for him anymore. He's like not great for kids.
No, not like a good parent or like parental figure stand-in.
Yeah. Usually
he like really likes turning kids into like basically ammunition to like craft a boy special to take the body of, which is like not really good for the growth of like any of the children involved.
Yeah. Which is like a really it's like really a bummer, right? Because like I don't know, he's such a cool guy otherwise.
Right, yeah. Yeah, Kimimara's done remembering shit. He like bursts out of his hand. He's got his fucking cool curse mark stage 2 form. He's got a fucking tail.
Yeah.
Nobody else gets a tail.
Nobody else.
This guy fucking won the lottery. Goddamn.
Yeah. Holy shit.
It's like cool as hell.
Yeah, I want a sick tail.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, I mean,
I could probably have a sick tail if I wanted to.
Yeah, you're like really good at the transformation jutsu.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't like have like a I can grow a tail because it's like fun, or like maybe like there's like instances where like it could be like convenient or whatever for like increasing my balance, or I guess if I want to like hang from a tail or whatever. But it's not like, oh, I'm getting a new tail and it's like this is a mark of my I'm in a new, more powerful form, right? Like I don't really like.
Yeah.
There's only so much far my transformation jutsu can go to like make me be like stronger in that moment, you know?
Right. Yeah. For you, a tail is just a tail. For this guy, a tail is like indicative of like a cool power up he has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I mean, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think we covered it.
All right, that's the episode. What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are watching episodes 127, 128, and 129 of Naruto.
Nice. And hey, if you don't want to wait, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Konoha Crush. All one word, Konoha Crush. For just $3 a month, you get access to episodes up to a week early. And for $5, you get access to our bonus show, Narukai Uzumaki. We talk about like isekai and like isekai adjacent stuff. Just this month, we recorded, like just a couple days ago, we recorded an episode about Sword Art Online Season 2. So, you know, by the time this is on the main feed, it'll probably be out. It'll probably be close to out by the time this is on the Patreon also. So yeah, go check it out. You know, if you like the show and you know needed more of us in your lives, you can check out that, or of course my Twitch streams that I'll get to a little bit later. But before that, I want to thank our Joni tier patrons. Maple, Izzy, Future Chinchuriki of the Six-Tailed Beast, in front of the show Rife. Check out their streams at twitch.tv/subspaceskater. All one word, subspace, skater. Any images we talk about during the show can be found on our Twitter, twitter.com/KonohaCrush, all one word, KonohaCrush. We also have a Tumblr, KonohaCrushcast.tumblr.com. And I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/GuinevereTeef, GuinevereTeef. Guinevere Teef. I recently started playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on stream. And that's been fun so far, and I'm really looking forward to like continuing that. Also, on Fridays, Vale and I are playing through Monster Hunter Rise, so that's fun too. And I don't have any plans for it quite yet. Like I don't have any like immediate plans for it yet, but I do have a handful of Naruto games that I got on sale. God, the specifics of which like just fell out of my brain as soon as I started talking about them. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I recently got all 4 of the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games on sale, so I'm probably going to be playing through the first one at least on Twitch as soon as we get through the part of the show that it covers. So I will have more to announce of that when it gets closer to the time. But yeah, I think that's it. Do you have anything you want to shout out?
No, I think I'm pretty much good.
Okay, well, hey, thanks for listening. And remember, there is no such thing as filler.